Forget everything you thought you knew about powerful beings. We're about to plunge into a mythical arena where two archdemons, Klaus and Lucifer, unleash a storm of elemental fury. See how their distinct, terrifying abilities would collide in a battle for supremacy. A dance of fire and shadow that will leave you breathless. Welcome back, myth lovers and fantasy fanatics, to the Nightforge. Today we're staging the ultimate showdown, a clash of titans that has been whispered about in the darkest corners of lore. In one corner, we have Klaus, the master of elemental chaos, a being whose very presence can warp the natural world. And in the other, the legendary Lucifer, the fallen star, whose command over fire and darkness is absolute. Who would win in an all-out elemental war? That's the question we're here to answer. Grab your popcorn because this is going to be an epic ride. First, let's break down our contenders. We'll start with Klaus. He's not your typical demon. Klaus is a primordial force, an entity born from the raw, untamed elements of creation. Think of him as the living embodiment of a hurricane, an earthquake, and a volcanic eruption, all rolled into one terrifying package. His primary strength lies in his complete and utter mastery over all elements. We're talking earth, air, fire, and water. But it goes deeper than that. He can summon lightning from a clear sky, freeze the very air you breathe, or make the ground swallow his enemies whole. Klaus doesn't just control the elements. He is the elements. His attacks are relentless and unpredictable, a symphony of destruction that can overwhelm even the most powerful foes. His weakness, if you can call it that, is his own chaotic nature. Sometimes his power is so vast, so untamed, that it can be difficult to focus on a single target with precision. He's a force of nature, and nature is often indiscriminate. Now, let's turn our attention to Lucifer. The name itself sends shivers down your spine. Originally, an archangel of immense beauty and power, his fall from grace transformed him into the lord of the infernal realms. While Klaus is a master of all elements, Lucifer has perfected a select few to an unimaginable degree. His domain is fire and shadow, but this isn't just any fire. We're talking about hellfire, a supernatural flame that burns not just the body but the soul itself. It can't be extinguished by normal means and feeds on the very essence of its victims. And then there's his control over darkness. Lucifer can manipulate shadows, turning them into solid weapons, using them for instantaneous travel, or creating illusions so real they can drive you mad. He's not just a brawler, he's a master strategist. Every move is calculated, every attack is precise. He exploits his opponent's weaknesses with terrifying efficiency. Lucifer's power isn't chaotic. It's a finely honed blade, sharp and deadly. His pride, however, can be his undoing. His confidence in his own superiority can sometimes lead him to underestimate an opponent who doesn't play by the established rules. So, the bell rings, and the fight begins. Imagine the scene: a desolate, rocky wasteland, a perfect stage for our elemental showdown. Klaus makes the first move. He stomps his foot, and the very ground beneath Lucifer erupts. Massive stone spikes, sharp as spears, rocket towards the fallen angel. But Lucifer is unfazed. With a flick of his wrist, he melts into the shadows, reappearing 100 feet away as the stone spikes shatter against each other. He smirks, a gesture of both mockery and challenge. In response, Klaus raises his hands, and the sky darkens. A torrential freezing rain begins to fall, each drop hitting the ground like a shard of ice. The temperature plummets, and the air crackles with frost. Klaus is trying to slow Lucifer down, to encase him in a prison of ice. But Lucifer thrives in extremes. He laughs, and a wave of pure hellfire radiates from his body, instantly vaporizing the freezing rain around him. The ground sizzles, turning to molten glass where the infernal flames touch it. Now it's his turn. He points a finger at Klaus, and a jet of black fire, the very essence of his power, screams across the battlefield. This isn't just a physical attack, it's an assault on Klaus's spirit. Klaus roars in defiance and summons a wall of solid, unyielding rock to block the blast. The hellfire collides with the stone barrier, and for a moment, it holds, but hellfire is relentless. It begins to eat away at the rock, melting it, consuming it, turning Klaus's defense into a glowing river of lava. Seeing his defense crumble, Klaus changes tactics. He disperses the rock wall and calls upon the wind. A Category 5 hurricane forms around him in seconds. The winds are strong enough to rip mountains from their roots. He intends to tear Lucifer apart with raw, brute force. This is where the battle truly gets interesting. It's a classic matchup: overwhelming, chaotic power versus focused, refined might. Lucifer is caught in the vortex, Debris, rocks, and shards of ice are flying everywhere. But instead of fighting the storm, he embraces it. He becomes a shadow, a fleeting form within the gale, impossible to pin down. The hurricane is Klaus's weapon, but it also provides Lucifer with countless shadows to manipulate. From within the storm, shadowy tendrils lash out, trying to ensnare Klaus. This is a battle of attrition. Klaus is throwing everything he has, trying to overwhelm Lucifer with sheer elemental chaos. He summons bolts of lightning that split the sky, and they strike at the swirling shadows, trying to find their target. Lucifer, in turn, uses his precise control over hellfire to create controlled explosions within the hurricane, disrupting its flow and trying to break Klaus's concentration. The fight is at a stalemate. Klaus's raw power is immense, but Lucifer's strategic mind and specialized abilities allow him to counter every move. Klaus can't land a decisive blow on a target that can become intangible shadow, and Lucifer's attacks, while potent, are being blocked by an endless barrage of elemental defenses. So, who has the edge? It comes down to endurance and willpower. Klaus draws his power from the world around him. As long as the elements exist, his power is theoretically infinite. He is a battery that is constantly recharging. Lucifer, on the other hand, draws his power from his own infernal essence, a vast but ultimately finite wellspring. In a prolonged battle, a war of attrition, Klaus seems to have the advantage. He can keep throwing hurricanes, earthquakes, and blizzards at Lucifer indefinitely. But Lucifer is no fool. He knows he can't win a battle of endurance against a living force of nature. He needs to end this, and he needs to end it now. He decides on a final, desperate gambit. He allows the storm to buffet him, feigning weakness. Klaus, sensing victory, focuses his power, intensifying the hurricane into a maelstrom of unimaginable force. This is the moment Lucifer was waiting for. As Klaus concentrates all his energy on the storm, he leaves himself momentarily vulnerable. With a final surge of power, Lucifer teleports directly behind Klaus, using the deepest shadow in the eye of the storm. Before Klaus can react, Lucifer plunges his hand, wreathed in soul-burning hellfire, into Klaus's back. The elemental archdemon lets out a roar that shakes the very foundations of the world. It's a sound of pure agony. The hellfire doesn't just burn his physical form, it attacks his chaotic elemental spirit, attempting to incinerate him from the inside out. The hurricane dissipates instantly as Klaus's concentration is shattered. He falls to his knees, his body flickering like a dying flame. Is this the end? Has Lucifer's cunning and precision triumphed over Klaus's raw power? It certainly looks that way. Lucifer stands over his fallen rival, exhausted but victorious. But then, something happens. The ground begins to tremble. The sky weeps tears of fire. The air itself screams. Klaus isn't just a being that controls elements. He is the elements. By attacking his core, Lucifer didn't kill him. He broke the dam. All of Klaus's untamed, chaotic power erupts at once. There is no focus, no control, just a pure, apocalyptic release of elemental energy. It's not an attack, it's a cataclysm. The entire wasteland, the entire dimension they are in, begins to unravel. Lucifer, drained from his final attack, has no energy left to escape. He is consumed by the very chaos he sought to defeat, torn apart by a simultaneous earthquake, volcanic eruption, and absolute zero freeze. In the end, there is nothing left but a void. So, who is the winner? In a way, neither of them, and in another way, both of them. Lucifer won the tactical battle, landing the killing blow through superior strategy. But Klaus, in his final moments, achieved his ultimate purpose, returning everything to pure, untamed chaos. His defeat triggered a victory of his very nature. It's a Pyrrhic victory for both, a testament to their incredible power. Lucifer proved that strategy can overcome brute force. But Klaus proved that some forces of nature are too vast to be truly defeated. They can only be unleashed. What do you guys think? Who do you believe would truly come out on top? Was Lucifer's final gambit the right move, or did his pride lead to their mutual destruction? Let me know your theories and who you'd like to see battle it out next in the comments below. This was a fun one, diving deep into the very nature of these two incredible beings. If you enjoyed this epic showdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more mythical battles, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.